Hey everybody, it's Bobby Nahum here with AMAC Real Estate Company. Hope everybody's having a great fall so far and hope everybody's enjoying their week. We're here today to talk about Leon County's residential real estate market. We're going to go over some real estate related metrics from the third quarter of this year, and we're going to compare those real estate related metrics to the third quarter of 2022 so that we can compare how our real estate market did in the third quarter of this year versus the third quarter of a year ago. This will kind of give us an idea of what direction our real estate market's headed in and how we're doing, if our market's improving or if it's getting worse or whatever. And we're also going to talk about some broader real estate related information and news, as well as some broader economic information that has an effect on our local real estate market. And we're going to decipher what's going on in the world and how that's affecting our local real estate market here. I'm also going to give you guys some insight in what I'm seeing in my day-to-day sales business, just to kind of give you a look at things from kind of a ground level, and then talk to you about what we can expect in the next few months to see in our real estate market, some important things to look for going forward, especially if you're going to be buying or selling a home. And then if you are buying or selling a home, we'll give you some advice and some tips on how you can be successful in today's real estate market, whether you're selling or buying a home. So let's start by talking about some of the real estate related metrics that we saw in the third quarter of this year. So basically, in the third quarter of this year, we saw basically a continuation of what we've been seeing over the past, I'd say, 14 months or so, or since the end of 2022 anyway, since the second half of 2022 started when the interest rates started going up. We've basically just seen we saw the market continue with the same trends overall that we had seen previously in the last year or 14 months or so. So we saw listings, the number of properties available for sale continue to go down. Home sales continue to go down. Home prices continue going up, and actually we saw home prices in the third quarter of this year go up at an accelerating rate, meaning at a faster rate than they had been going up the past couple quarters. We saw a little bit of a sign of possible softening, very small, when we look at the sale price to list price ratio. Sale price to list price ratio went down just a little bit, and homes are taking a little bit longer to sell right now than they did a year ago, or at least in the third quarter of this year, they took longer to sell than they did the year prior. And then also we saw an uptick in distress sales, which distress sales, you've heard me talk about these before, mainly short sales and foreclosures, but they can also be other types of sales like estate sales, tax sales, bankruptcy sales, etc. Any type of sale that might have, would sell for lower due to the type of sale. Anything like that is a distress sale, and we did see a slight uptick in those in the third quarter of this year from a year ago. So basically, let's start out talking about listings. So the number of properties listed for sale went down by 7% in the third quarter of this year compared to a year ago. Obviously, lack of inventory has been an issue that we've had for quite a while in our local real estate market, as well as the rest of the country, actually, for that matter. But we've had a shortage of inventory and homes for sale for quite a while. We really need homes to start going, the number of homes listed for sale to start going up, not down. But we saw number of homes listed for sale go down by 7% from a year ago. So the lack of inventory that we have, it's causing home prices to go up at unsustainably high levels. This is why home prices did go up in the third quarter of this year, and why they've been going up. It's just because we have such a shortage of homes available for sale. The demand is okay, but it's not like we have crazy high demand. That's what is driving prices. It's really the supply side that's driving home prices up. And then the other thing, though, is that the lack of available homes for sale is also causing fewer home sales. So, which is also partially why home sales are going down, because there's just not enough homes available for sale, and people are looking out at what's on the market, and they're just saying, hey, I'm not really seeing what I like at the price I like, so we're just gonna not buy. We're gonna continue renting. So we've seen a lot of that, and that's also partially why sales are down, which brings us into our next metric, which is property sales. So property sales saw a big drop in the third quarter of this year, 17% compared to the third quarter of 2022. So it's a pretty big drop. Now, interest rates are obviously a part of that. So interest rates in the third quarter pretty much were hovering like right around 7% for most of the time. More recently, they've gone up closer to like 8%, but in the third quarter, they kind of were around 7%, which is still high. So that's part of the reason sales are down. The other part is, it has to do with lack, like I talked about before, lack of available housing available for sale. So people just aren't seeing as many homes as they would like to. They're not seeing the right home at the right price, so they're just continuing to rent. And this combination of lack of inventory and high interest rates is really crushing home sales right now. So basically though, what it comes down to is that we have a imbalance between supply and demand. So home sales are down, but inventory is down as well. Available number of homes for sale is way down. So even though home sales are down, the demand is still greater than the available supply of homes available, which is why we've seen prices continue to go up, which brings us into our next metric, which is average home prices. So in the third quarter of this year, we saw a 12% year-over-year increase in home prices in the third quarter. That's a big increase. Again, historically, I've talked about this before, but historically homes appreciated about 3 or 4% a year. So at 12%, you're like 3 to 4 times the historical average. So it's a big jump. And when you look at people's incomes are only going up by about 4 to 5% a year right now. So 12% is more than double the increase in people's incomes. So at some point, home price gains have got to slow down. Otherwise, no one's going to be able to buy a home. So, more and more people are getting priced out. As these home prices continue to go up at double-digit rates, more and more people are getting priced out of the market. So it's got to slow down. But we saw a big jump in home prices. Now, I think that when home prices do eventually stop going up so fast or flatten out or possibly even go down a little bit, that's going to be from a slowdown in demand. I don't think it's going to be from the supply side. I don't think we're going to get some kind of big increase in the supply of homes all of a sudden. I think what we're going to see is over the next 12 to 24 months, we will see a gradual decline in home sales until it gets to the point where demand and supply are kind of at an even keel. Like I said, I think that's probably at least 12 to 24 months away, probably 18 to 24 months away. I don't think the market's going to crash. I think it's just going to be, a gradual decline in home sales like we've been seeing every quarter. So now one thing that should be noted is that while we had an overall 12% increase in prices throughout Leon County in the third quarter, the southeast part of the county did see a 5% drop in home prices in the third quarter of this year. So I think that that's an anomaly because it was that price drop was isolated to the southeast quadrant of Tallahassee or of Leon County, and it was pretty much out of context of everything I've seen over the past several years. Obviously, prices have just been going up. So we will continue to look at the southeast part of the county, and we'll see what happens in the fourth quarter. Obviously, if it continues to go down in the fourth quarter, then there's something to it. But I think more than likely we'll see prices go up again in the fourth quarter in the southeast part of Leon County. I think it's just an anomaly, but we'll continue to look at that, and we'll talk about it next market report. So the next metric I want to talk about is the sale price to list price ratio. So again, the sale price to list price ratio, it measures on average how much homes sell for compared to the asking price of the home. So if a home is listed at 100,000, it sells for 98,000, and the sale price to list price ratio was 98% for that home. So on average, the sale price to list price ratio in the third quarter of this year was 99.22%, which is really high, down just very slightly from a year ago in the third quarter when it was 99.32%. So it was a 0.1% drop from a year ago. So basically flat. But you could look at that and decipher that, well, maybe there's a very slight softening in the market this year compared to last year. I think that's fair to agree to say that, but it's very, very small. The next metric is the average number of days on the market that it took to sell a home. So that number increased by 7.9% from third quarter 22 to third quarter of 2023. So in the third quarter of this year, it took 41 days to sell a home on average, whereas in the third quarter of 2022, it took 38 days on average to sell a home. So taking a little bit longer to sell homes, which again is another indication that maybe the demand is softening a little bit compared to a year ago. Not too much though, but a little bit anyway. So the last metric I want to talk about is the distressed sale to total sale ratio. Now what this is this ratio, distressed sales to total sale ratio, measures the proportion of distressed sales compared to total sales expressed as a percentage. So again, distressed sales, like I said before, they're foreclosures, short sales, estate sales, any type of sale where the nature of the sale itself lends to the property selling for less than it normally would in a regular arm's length transaction. So distressed sales in the third quarter of this year made up 2.58% of all sales. That's up fairly good amount compared to a year ago, when a year ago distressed sales only made up 1.1% of total sales. So it's still low. 2.58% is still a very low percentage of overall sales, but it's a more than 100% increase from a year ago. So when you look at it from a percentage wise standpoint, it was a big jump. However, it being only 2.58% of all sales, distressed sales right now are really not having an impact on our local real estate market, or it's not affecting prices negatively or anything like that. We will continue to look at that though and see if distressed sales continue to go up. They did go up a little bit in the second quarter as well, and then they went up again a little bit in the third quarter. So they're small increases, but it'd be worth watching. If distress sales get above 5%, then we may have something to worry about. There may be something to it, but as of right now, it's just something we'll continue to monitor, but it's not really affecting our real estate market right now. So in my own business, what I'm seeing on the ground in sales and through my listings and working with buyers and everything is that overall the market is definitely slowing. Part of that has to do with the time of the year. Typically after August, when everybody's back in school, the market slows down. We usually get a little bit of an uptick in the fall around after Labor Day, early October, early mid-October, and then as we get back toward close to Thanksgiving, the market slows down quite a bit and it stays slow until after the new year. So that's part of the reason the market's slowing down. It's just regular timing. But the other part is interest rates hit 8% the other week, and that was a big deal. That was like, I think 8%. There's like a psychological thing to that, to the average 30-year mortgage rate hitting 8%. There's a psychological thing to that I think has made a lot of people push the pause button on buying a home. So I think that we have had a little bit more than just a normal seasonal drop off in demand. Actually, the third quarter of this year was the slowest third quarter that we've had since 2014. So the slowest quarter in 9 years. And then if you look at the month of September alone, September was actually the slowest month since September of 2013 for sales. So it's been a big decline in sales, more than I think just the seasonal drop off. I think it has to do with the really high interest rate. So I'm seeing that in my listings. Listings are taking longer to sell right now. There's not as much buyer traffic out there as we would expect to see. Going forward, I think the main thing that we need to pay attention to really is inflation. I think inflation is really driving. It's really driving what's going on in the economy right now, especially with interest rates, and then the interest rates have an effect on the real estate market, obviously. Right now, core inflation is at about 3.8%. The Federal Reserve really wants to see that number drop to 2% or below. And until it hits that 2% mark, what they're going to do is they're either going to hold interest rates where they're at, or they're going to possibly do another small increase. But we're not going to see another drop in the rates until we see the inflation hit 2% or below. I think based on what I've been seeing and what I'm reading and everything, we're probably at least 12 to 24 months away from inflation dropping under 2%. I think we've got a ways to go. I think that last 2% is going to be tough, just because there's a lot of things going on in the overall economy right now that are going to continue to drive inflation, in my opinion. Oil prices is one of those things, and we just printed so much money that I think frankly a lot of that money still in circulation. So I think it's going to take a while to pull some of that money out of circulation and get the rates down, or get the inflation rate down to 2%. So, but we need to pay attention to that, because interest rates are really what is causing the slowdown, and it's just that's the main thing I think we need to look at. Let's see here. If you are, let's talk about if you're buying or selling a house. So if you're selling a house right now, you need to recognize the change in the market. Okay, you can still get a good price for your house. Prices are still high, but you need to price your home competitively for the market so that it sells in a reasonable time. With the slowdown, this is not a time where you want to, try to reach for a little bit more money because the market's really good right now. I think what you need to do is you need to price your house in accordance with the comps, and don't get too greedy right now, because if you overprice it and your house sits, what's going to happen is you're going to end up getting less, because the longer it sits on the market, the harder it is to get top dollar, because people look at it and they're just not in a rush to make an offer on your house when they see it's been sitting on and so there's no there's no fear of somebody missing out on your house, which is ultimately what leads to getting top dollar for the house. So price your house right. Obviously, get your house in move-in ready condition. Have it looking nice, so that so that when people go to look at it, it shows well, and so that the pictures turn out good. That is really important for getting top dollar. So make sure that you take the time to get your house ready, and so it shows well and looks nice. And then if you are buying a home, a couple things you need to understand. Number one, you have a little bit more negotiating power right now than you did a few months ago. So, but it's still a seller's market. So keep that in mind. Don't try to make super lowball offers or anything like that, because chances are you're not going to be successful with that strategy. Make sure you have your financing lined up. Get a pre-qual letter. Have your pre-qual letter ready to go to submit with offers, or if you're making cash offers, have your proof of funds letter ready. Learn your market, know your market, understand what's a good deal, what's not a good deal for your market. Look at like average days on the market. Look at if you can, try to find out through your agent average sale price to list price ratio for your market. And obviously the most important thing when you go to make an offer on a house, look at the recent comps to figure out what the market value is based on what's been selling. And that all goes into, again, just learning your market, understanding your market, so that you can know what's a good deal, what's not a good deal, which ultimately helps you with determining the offer you're going to make on a property that you're interested in. And also when the house that you really like comes up for sale, make sure you move quick, even though the market is slowing down. Homes that are in demand and are priced right and are in good locations and show well, they're still moving quickly right now. So that's my advice if you are buying a home. And that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this market report. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to, you can email me, you can text me, you can give me a call, or you can just leave a comment on this video. And also, if you like the content of this video, please give me a like, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like the content. You want to get these videos every quarter, because I send these out every quarter. Just give me a like on my channel. So, and thanks again, and I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. Hope everybody has a great holiday, and I will talk to you guys early in January when we go over the fourth quarter real estate market report. Thanks.